You could use some advice from Laurie Itkin. Businesses around the nation are quickly learning to not underestimate millennials. They're growing up, they're starting their families, and they're spending their money. Joining us right now is Laurie to talk about the purchasing power of millennials. Laurie, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, happy to be here, Andrew. I love talking about stocks.
Fantastic. How are new mothers today different than their own mothers when it comes to how they spend money these days?
So everyone's looking for the prize of millennial moms. The millennials are now starting to have children of their own. The millennial moms are going to have a lot of purchasing power, and that means that retail brands that can really connect with millennial moms' values are really going to be the winners in this demographic change.
So what do they do differently than mothers did maybe 30 years ago or so?
Well, what millennial moms are really looking for in terms of where they use their purchasing power, where they spend their dollars, is looking for technology and convenience, healthy food, and the safety of their children. And Goldman Sachs equity analysts recently did a report on which stocks they think are set to gain from the purchasing power of millennial moms. It's a very interesting report.
Who are some of those companies that kind of rose to the top that may not have been there a few years ago?
Well, first, let me just state that the companies I'm going to talk about are Goldman Sachs's recommendations. They're not Laurie Itkin's recommendations. When I'm recommending stocks for clients, I look at a lot of factors, not just the buy rating of one Wall Street firm. But that being said, it was an interesting list. The first one that made me chuckle was Starbucks, and that's because apparently millennial moms are not embarrassed bringing in food and beverage from Starbucks into the office. But can you imagine bringing in a Big Mac with special sauce and dumping it on the conference table? Now that's embarrassing.
Yeah, so we're talking about a few individual stocks. Starbucks is one of them, Netflix, another one I believe, which by the way is $600+ a share. What's the best way for somebody who might be interested in investing in this millennial mom movement, if you will, to get these kinds of stocks? Is it a 401k? Is it an IRA? Or being that these are individual stocks, is there another better way to do it?
Well, whenever you're investing, you do want to have a diversified portfolio, and all the stocks we're talking about today are just a small portion of the S&P 500, it's the retail sector. Now, if you want to buy any individual stocks, in most cases you cannot buy individual stocks through your company or employer's retirement plan. That could be a 401k, 403b, or TSP. You're going to have to open up either an online brokerage account or an IRA, and there you'll have choices and be able to buy individual stocks if you choose.
All right, if somebody's looking to get into this millennial movement, what are some things to kind of keep in mind? Again, we're talking about individual stocks here primarily, or is there some funds that kind of get all of these companies together?
Well, the most obvious is that these millennials are going to be having babies, and there may not be a lot of babies, but there are a lot of millennials. So the obvious choices are those companies. One example would be Carter's, that are big in brand name, big sellers of baby and children's clothing. You know, think diapers and onesies. So that's one play you can do. Disney, it's an iconic brand. I mean, the kids love Disney, and as you mentioned, Andrew, with Netflix, the adults love Netflix. So again, I'm not recommending these stocks specifically, but these are something for you to be watching if you really think that the purchasing power of millennial moms is going to make a difference.
Okay, everything evolves, including the way that moms spend money these days, dads as well. Laurie, thank you so much for your insight as always.
Thank you, Andrew.